Independence Day. Asegura tu acceso en el website de Imagine. Welcome to the Underground Empire.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of What's Up Punta Cana with Christine Maggio. And so I am happy to be here with all of you guys tonight. If you were just tuning into our previous show in Spanish, Talk Show Bávaro, we had a lovely conversation tonight about all of the things and events and stuff that is going on in the area. We talk about the earthquake today that we can continue discussing and all of the things that happened that I thought that it was just the kids in the room next door, and let alone it actually was an earthquake that I did not realize. We have the upcoming show with Rick Ross coming next weekend here to Imagine Nightclub on July 4th. So we'll talk about that. And I have a guest with us today in the studio, and it is someone who is a singer as well. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and, her music and what she does with music, how she got into music. And so I'm excited to introduce you to her, and we are going to start with that this evening. So I would like you all to welcome Ismari Ramirez.
Yes, thank you very much.
Nice to have you
to be
here.
here. It's a nice surprise. I didn't expect it.
Well, hey, sometimes it's those, improvised moments that always make the best moments. So tell me, what kind of music do you sing? Do you make? Do you write?
Well, I didn't write like 7 years ago.
Okay.
So right now, I'm doing like kind of R&B, blue, jazz, soul, that kind of deep feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I love. Sometimes, of course, at the resort, for example, I need to do some bachata, merengue, Dominican music.
Uh-huh. So what do you love the most? Like, what genre do you really connect with?
Oh, like New Age, Barbra Streisand, Johnny. That's.
Okay. So let's go back to when you first started singing. How long have you been singing, and when did you know that it was really, just something that you love to do?
Oh my God. I remember like 7 years old. I would love to sing, but I remember I could never pass the challenge because the teacher always told me all the time, no, you can't sing. At that time, we need to sing like our national song.
Uh-huh.
But I remember they had so high, big notes, and maybe I fall or did wrong. So I tried like 9 times.
Uh-huh.
And then in 6th grade, like 11 years old, I make it.
Well,
yes.
Did you practice a lot because you really want?
A lot. And then I was the first voice at the choral at the school.
And so you just put it in your mind that you weren't going to let them tell you don't have the voice to do it. You said, okay, fine. I may not have it now, but I'm going to have it at some point.
You say, I cannot do it, so I'm going to show you that I can.
See,
Exactly.
that's the attitude I wish more young people would have, because so many times young people are told, well, you don't have the voice, or you can't do it, or, you don't have the talent. And really, they don't have it yet, right? And that's the big word at the end, is yet. But if you go out, if you practice, if you put your heart and soul and to get better and better, then you can do it.
Absolutely.
And so you did it. Was that music teacher that said that you don't have the voice to do it, was she still there, or he?
Yes, I love him.
Good.
Yes, because he makes me stronger.
Nice. So you accomplished that goal and you were able to do it. So bring me a little bit to, the next part of how you developed even more as a singer.
Well, after that, I started high school, and after, my parents didn't allow me to study music.
Okay.
Because they said musicians cannot have enough money.
Uh-huh.
So I studied industrial engineering, 5 years.
Industrial engineering.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very big difference from singing to industrial engineering.
Exactly.
How
That's
did
what I love business, but I love my voice too.
how did you get into industrial engineering? Like, what made you choose industrial engineering?
Because at first I wanted a touristic area, but was too many places, low places. And after that, I wanted something like creative and positive about touristic area and customers and
Uh-huh.
development, because I always think like that.
What does so when you study in industrial engineering, what does that entail? Like, what is the focus of industrial engineering?
The focus of the industrial engineering is like an ocean, very deep but minimum, because you know things about different topics, but at the end you can only do one thing. You can make change and development and an enterprise. That's what you must do, like industrial engineer. You need to upgrade, you need to look, you need to find things that you can fix. That's why we study that.
Interesting. So what was the first
My first job,
yeah, like what was the first thing you went to after, to put your industrial engineering to work?
well, my first practice job was in a very nice resort with 34 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I started like second manager and I ended 3 years like manager.
Wow.
Yes, was very hard at the beginning. I remember I used to teach the some people how to put the forks, the spoon, the plates, and they doesn't like me because I was very strict. But at the end, they started to love me because
Mhm.
they start to learn and do right things.
Yes. See, a lot of times people don't like discipline in the beginning, but in the end, they realize that it's because attention to detail is way more important than just letting things go. And I'm imagining too, like that's your reputation. So if you are the manager or general manager or even assistant manager, your name is what is going behind the people that you are working with, the people that you are training. And so if they don't do a good job, then it reflects poorly on you. Correct?
Exactly.
So in that time when you were in studying industrial engineering, when you were working as manager, as you were working in hotels, did you stop singing?
No, I didn't. Not even in my career. All the time, I sang. But my parents, of course, didn't tell him.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to the university at 7 a.m. Till 3 p.m. And after that, come back home. And after at 7:30, I was taking a bus to travel 65 kilometers away from my home, where was the beach area or the touristic polo.
Oh, wow.
And then I I used to do twice. I dance and I sing. So I came back home like 12, 1 a.m. and then on the other day to the school and I make it.
So what did you tell your parents that you were doing until
I told them I was working in a bar,
oh, okay.
like a waitress.
Okay. So that's interesting. So you could tell them that you were working in a bar as a waitress, but you couldn't say that you were working in a bar as a singer.
Exactly. Because they don't believe singer can have money
Right.
or can be paid about singing.
Mm-hmm. How hard is that? I mean, obviously for you, you were, I think a lot of young people are what they truly want to do and what makes them happy is often stomped on or told no by their parents, and then they have to change to be realistic. Realistic. What does that do to how hard is that on a young person, because you that was you. And what would you say to parents now who are trying to stop their children from doing what they love because they think it won't make them money?
only thing that I can say to my parents and to those parents is thank you. Thank you for all because they make me feel if I really love it or not singing. Because they tried to stop me, but they couldn't. So
Mm-hmm.
that's make you find yourself or what you want, you really want. I say
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
That's interesting. It is interesting because even though you were told no, you kept going. You kept doing it.
Exactly. Now I can learn how to play piano. I want that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I used to do paint too, painting walls. I love it. And portraits.
Really? So
Yes.
you're an artist, like through and through. You're an artist. So and that's the gift I get. That God gave you. Obviously, you know.
Thanks God.
Yes, we've all been given our different talents and our gifts that we're to use in this world to make the world a better place. And however, a lot of people let those gifts die because they're told that based on society's expectations, it's not good enough, or you're not going to make money from it, or you're not going to be able to do anything with it. So fast forward then, after you finished working in the hotels and everything, did you then start working as a musician?
After that, I used to work always like two.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years after, I traveled from my village, which Olgin call it, the name. It's a very beautiful village.
Mm-hmm.
I traveled 864 kilometers away to
Mm-hmm.
Baradero because it was a very big area. And then I started to sing in more hotels. If, for example, in my village, I had 3 hotels. In Baradero, I sang in 9 hotels. And was best for me, for my economy. Like
Uh-huh.
industrial engineer, I love my economy. I love money.
Uh-huh. Of course.
Everyone loves.
Yes. So then what made you then decide to come to here, to the Dominican Republic, to, you know, how was that? Did you come on vacation and then you loved it, or a job opportunity and you loved it, or it was just, hey, let me try something new?
Well, at the time, I used to had a couple, German guy who used to
Mm-hmm.
love me. And then we say, maybe we can travel to another country. He called me Mary. And then you maybe can sing also there and open new horizons and new places
Mm-hmm.
because you never left your country. You never left Cuba. And I said, are you sure? So we came here both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How nice. And
Yeah.
and have you had have you had success in doing what you wanted to set out for yourself?
Yes, but the most beautiful thing that we had is that we traveled full country.
Mm-hmm.
I know full country. I have been in Monte Cristi, in two sides close to IT frontiers, Saona Island, Catalina, Samana, Terrenas, Bonao, Bani, everything.
Wow. And you did that, and when you were doing that, were you singing?
No, we did that the first 2 months when we arrived
Okay.
because we didn't know exactly where we wanted to live here because we didn't know the country.
Uh-huh.
So we said to each other, okay, honey, let's going to travel, let's going to see
Let's see how it goes.
what's happened.
And
Exactly.
wow. Wow. And so you ended up here.
Exactly.
And so, and now you found a place here in the area in the tour, and you still do what you love here.
Exactly.
So going back to your genre, your music, have you started, do you ever write your own?
Yes.
And what is that process for you?
That process is very difficult to explain because you cannot do it like by yourself. You need inspiration. You need to connect with yourself. You need feelings. Sometimes have to be with something that you have lived and experienced. You need experience. You need the patience. You need the feeling, and then you can write.
Do you prefer to sing your own music, or do you connect? You prefer to sing other songs that you connect with?
I prefer sing other songs, artists.
Mm-hmm. So here in what is one of the greatest experiences that you've had since you've come here? And what is one of the, oh my God, I just, because here every day there's always some sort of surprise. But those ones that you're just like, did that just really happen? Like one of the, oh my gosh, I just, one of those things that for me, nothing surprises me anymore about here because it's always something different every day. But what were some of those, a couple of those things, like what was something that, you were like, wow, this is something I will never forget about here, and something that you were kind of like, did that really just happen?
Well, the craziest thing that I ever did here, I never expected. My first time singing here was at Hard Rock Cafe at downtown, making a Celia Cruz tribute. Never expected, but I did it.
Wow.
Because it was a model academy.
Uh-huh.
Despite so.
Excellent. Oh, yeah. How fun.
Yeah, they can saw in my Instagram.
That's wonderful. Okay, so why don't we share your Instagram now, since we're talking about that? We'll share it now, and then we'll share it again at the end. Okay. What is your Instagram?
My Instagram is called Lafarux Prod.
Can we spell that?
LAFARUXPROD.
Okay. There we have it. Say it again.
LAFARUXPROD.
Lafarux
Prod
Productions. Lafarux con RUX Prod PROD. Prod. Oh, very good. And so is that your business? Is that people find you there, but can people nowadays all of our Instagrams are like our business cards, right? Our calling cards. If somebody wants to find me or find my school or whatever it is, then they come, the Instagram.
No, it's not. If people visit my Instagram, they will be crazy because I have a lot of business.
Uh-huh. Yes. You do a lot of different things.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you do? What other things do you do besides singing?
Well, I have a group like 20 women, and I make aerobic
sessions. Excellent. Okay. What else?
What else? I do teach English to the kids.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so and I think a lot of times one of the greatest things about life is having those different avenues to go down, I was just saying to Faustino when he was just in here a little while ago that he's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a lot of different things. I have the show, and then, I have the school, and, I speak and do all of these different things. And it's wonderful to have all of those things, to be able to have those experiences and not just have to do one thing. Not that any of that defines us, because we are who we are, but it's great to be able to have that variety, because I think it makes life just a little bit more interesting and worth living. So what's next for you? What is something that you're hoping to accomplish? It may be in the next year, the next 5 years, because we all have goals for ourselves. What is it, something that you're looking for?
Well, first of all, God knows what is next.
Absolutely.
And after that, I want to make a jig in a cruise ship.
Make a what?
A jig. Musician jig in a cruise ship.
Okay. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Have you started looking or
I start to prepare the repertoire because it's very big, like 800 songs. So it's hard.
oh wow. So you need to know 800 songs in
Yes.
order to be able to get a position on a cruise ship.
Of course, imagine you're there like 3, 4, 6 months. You can repeat the same songs every day because you will be the same public. You
Interesting.
cannot.
Yeah, I guess you can't. I never really thought about that. So, do they have like a list, a set of songs that you need to practice so before you audition to get it? Or,
They don't have a list. You need to do your own research, what is a very hard work because you need to match with the genre. Maybe you want to see Somewhere Over the Rainbow and they want to hear Danza Kuduro. So
yeah, true, yes. So, I mean, I guess
yeah.
you have to be very versatile. Have you started working on that?
Yes, I can sing in 7 languages.
Oh, wow. That is impressive. Very impressive. Do you like languages?
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, obviously, your first language is Spanish. You speak English. Do you speak other languages or just sing in them?
I understand more than I can speak, but I have like a conversational level in French, some Greek,
Uh-huh.
Turkish.
I'm sure, like, with the Romance languages like French, Italian,
Yeah.
Portuguese are probably a little bit easier because they're similar to Spanish, but not exactly the same.
Yeah. For example, in Greek, I can say Buenos días, kalimera. Buenas noches, kalinita. Te amo, sakapo. In Turkish, adios, hoşçakal.
That's interesting. How do you say I love you in Greek again?
Sakapo.
See, now it sounds like you're saying se acabó, like it's finished, it's done, but it really means I love you in Greek. I love it.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah, I love languages too. So tell me a little bit about anything interesting or anything that you've come across in the Punta Cana area. You know, we were talking about updated news and things like that, but anything that you feel is, I don't know, we're talking about mentioning that, you know, tourism or life in general or upcoming events or even your take on I don't know if your take on the Rick Ross concert, anything like that you want to talk about?
Yes, one of the most great things that I can find here is that a lot of projects, constructions, building schools, everyone has a project, even selling coffee, and I love it. People can realize her dreams, their dreams.
Yes. You know, I do believe that too. You know, it's funny because a lot of times people will say, oh, well, you know, a lot of Dominicans are trying to go to the United States. Obviously, I'm from the United States and I came here to do that, you know, and they're like, why? You know, why wouldn't you just do it there? And it's like, I don't know, you know, God's plan is God's plan. So I ended up here and to fulfill my dreams. But like you said, there's so much opportunity. You just have to be able to recognize the opportunity when it's presented to you and go for it.
And the second thing that I love is that this is very multicultural song. You can find people from somewhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes. And that's the other thing too that we had, you know, mentioned that, you know, I always call it the melting pot, which is the area. It is an area that has so many different cultures, so many different people from all over the world. And so it's not like it's just one group, one culture, one thing. It's not just all one type of person, or it's everybody everywhere and appreciating everything that we do. And I don't know. I love that about here too, because you can be 1 minute, you know, speaking in English, the next minute speaking in Spanish, the next minute, oh, you're from Italy, I'm speaking Italian, and you're just going around.
Just love it.
Yes, I have to agree with that. I do love that about here, because I think also too, for for the younger generation. Like, I know that depending on what part of the United States you're from, a lot of areas have the same, it's an American culture, right? I mean, even if you have different backgrounds, the culture itself is American. Whereas here, I think that the cultures are still so tight, so close to their original home culture, that it's a mix of everybody and everything experiencing each other. And I think that is the greatest part, because there's no one race or one ethnicity or one dominant, background. Everybody's mixed in together. And I think that is one of the greatest things about here, because a lot of young people grow up in certain areas where, you're in Italy, you're going to school with Italians, or you're in France, you're going to school with French kids, or you're in the you're going with,
Exactly.
and so here, I mean, you're going to school or you're experiencing the lives of many different nationalities here. So I think that is one of the greatest things for young people in this area. When you're thinking about music and opportunities for music in this area, or maybe people who think, oh, I want to come here and I want to sing in resorts, or I want to have that experience, or have those types of opportunities, what advice would you give for them?
First of all, they need to know what they want. If they want to sing with a band, if they want to sing alone, if they want to sing for tourists or for weddings or for yourself or for your mother, they need to know.
So there are all those different, obviously, avenues that they can go. Do you sing for weddings too? Do you have a band? Do you have a band?
No, I would love to have it, but I don't. I just mix it with them. I call them and then we match.
Okay.
And we make the events.
Okay. So, but when you go and sing in resorts, for example, do you have backtracks? Like, is it a band in the resort, or do you have like background music?
I have 3 options. I have my backgrounds with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have companion with the piano, and I have band too.
Oh, okay. So when you do the accompaniment with the piano, what genre are you really looking? What genre are we looking at?
Like pop.
Pop?
Yes.
With the piano?
Yes.
Okay. Can you sing a little something for us?
Oh my God.
I know. I mean, because now I want to know, because if you're doing pop with a piano, like I was thinking more like jazz. I was thinking more of like a...
No, for example, you can make pop with R&B, like Amy Winehouse. He left no time to regret. That kind of things.
Okay, well, we can go on a little bit more than...
oh, but you know the lyrics.
Oh, that's right. What about something that you have that's your own?
Oh, no, I prefer not sing
Not to sing that? All right. Well, I think that it's been wonderful to have you here and to meet you, and to, just to get a new perspective on this. So if somebody here would like you to sing for them, or have an event, or you do weddings, you do everything, right? And let's tell them your Instagram once again. It's
La Farouk's Prod.
La Farouk's Prod. And so LaFaruxprod, right?
That's right.
Well, thank you, Ismari, for being here on the show. We're going to take a break, and then we will be back with What's Up Punta Cana with Christy Maggio. Stay tuned.
Information, music. This is Punta Cana Hits.
Hay artistas que siguen las reglas y hay jefes que dictan el juego.
Es un resumen de los mejores
Supremo
programas
las
de
charts
Punta Cana
globales
Hits.
aterriza en el Caribe. Rick Ross.
De 7 a 9 de la mañana, Good Morning Bávaro. 6 a 7 de la tarde, Talk Show Bávaro.
Celebrando el
De 7
18
a 8,
aniversario
Espanos
de
es
Imagine
por
en
mí.
la noche más grande del
Miércoles y
año,
jueves,
4 de julio,
somos Bávaro.
Independence Day.
Siempre de
Haciendo tu
7 a
acceso
8,
en el
los
website de
viernes,
Imagine.
WhatsApp
Welcome to the
Punta Cana.
Underground.
Esta es la programación que puedes escuchar por 90.3 Radio Bávaro. Punta Cana Hits. Vive por ti. Vive por ti.
Cada carretera mejor iluminada, cada trayecto que te ahorra más tiempo, cada ayuda que siempre está presente, cambia todo el viaje. En el Gobierno de la República Dominicana, RD Vial y el Ministerio de Obras Públicas y Comunicaciones trabajamos para que cada viaje sea más seguro, ahorres más tiempo, con más iluminación, mayor presencia en las carreteras y asistencia 24/7 a través del 511. Además, seguimos trabajando en nuevos proyectos viales para conectar más comunidades, regiones y destinos. Vías que cambian vidas.
Prepárate para deslumbrar. Del 18 de junio al 5 de julio llega la Feria de la Belleza a Hipertiendas Saglul y viene con grandes descuentos. Renueva tu rutina con ofertas increíbles en todo para el cuidado capilar, maquillaje, la piel y cuidado personal. Y porque la belleza empieza en el interior, también tenemos precios especiales en salud y bienestar. Pero eso no es todo. Ven y vive la experiencia. Disfruta de nuestro calendario de actividades con maquillaje y manicure express, regalo por compras, emocionantes ruletas de premios y experiencias sensoriales únicas. ¿Te mereces ese momento? Te esperamos del 18 de junio al 5 de julio. Hipertiendas Saglul, siempre pensando en ti.
¿Buscas calidad, buen precio y una ubicación privilegiada en Verón? Punta Cana Industrial Food es tu mejor opción. Disfruta desayunos, almuerzos y cenas con el auténtico sazón dominicano y los más altos estándares de higiene. Atendemos empresas con exclusivas facilidades de crédito. A partir de las 5 de la tarde, el ambiente se transforma. Relájate después del trabajo en nuestra terraza con un cóctel de bienvenida y el mejor ambiente de la zona. Estamos abiertos diariamente de 8 de la mañana a 11:30 de la noche. Avenida Domingo Maíz, frente a Almacenes Unidos, Verón, Punta Cana. WhatsApp 809-999-2232.
¿Buscas el lugar ideal para tu negocio en Friusa, Bávaro? En el corazón de Bávaro, Plaza Progreso. Es un centro comercial reconocido, seguro y bien ubicado. En Avenida Estados Unidos, donde los negocios conectan con la gente todos los días. Con espacio para consultorios, oficinas, entidades financieras, tiendas y servicios. Además de amplio parqueo, seguridad 24 horas, excelente acceso y gran flujo en la zona. Si quieres establecer tu negocio en un punto estratégico y con proyección, tu espacio está en Plaza Progreso. Para más información o reservas, llama al 809-552-0379. Plaza Progreso.
¡Hey! Este mes de mayo, tu tienda IKEA está de fiesta. Celebramos 17 años a tu lado. Y qué mejor manera de celebrar que con un montón de descuentos para ti. Así es, del 15 al 31 de mayo tenemos un 10% en cristalerías, muebles, cosméticos y mucho más, un 20% en calzados y un 15% en ropas. 17 años junto a ti, ofreciéndote más por menos. Tu tienda IKEA, siempre contigo, ahora en Las Madres y todo el año más por menos.
En Hospital IMG, tu emergencia está cubierta. Trabajamos con ARS y Seguros Nacionales. Recuerda que la mayoría de los planes de seguro cubren tu emergencia al 100%. Al usar tu seguro, no pagas diferencia. Nuestra sala de emergencia, diseñada para que los tiempos de espera sean los más cortos de la zona. Además, tenemos la unidad de pediatría avanzada más completa del este. En caso de emergencia, contamos con el respaldo de más de 10 subespecialidades pediátricas. La emergencia de Hospital IMG es el lugar más seguro para toda la familia ante cualquier eventualidad. Encuéntranos en el Boulevard Turístico del Este, 809-285-6116. Hospital IMG, emergencia 24/7. Tú nos importas.
Punta Canahits vive por ti. Si te quieres comunicar con nosotros, llama a nuestra emisora al 809-831-3333. 809-831-3333. 809-831-3333.
All right. Welcome back to What's Up Punta Cana with Christy Maggio. And so now let's turn the tables to a couple of different things that have happened in the area in this past week. And first, I'm going to talk about the huge fire that happened in a resort nearby Aibe. It was disaster. It was at the Wyndham Dominicus Beach Resort. And it happened about a week ago. It is something that it burned down pretty much most of the resort. It had to be evacuated. And so it's really sad. 1,700 guests had to leave. One tourist sadly died, an Italian tourist. And so it's obviously one of those things that, it was a very difficult situation, but also something that doesn't really happen here very often. You get a lot of those questions. Well, oh my gosh, the Dominican Republic is so dangerous. It's always on the red alert. It's always on, this happens. What about Zika? What about dengue? What about all of these other things? And I do have to say, there's always a chance that one of these things or disasters may happen, but it's very rare. Just like today, for example, we had an earthquake. I didn't even realize that it was an earthquake, but it was an earthquake. And, we are in an earthquake zone. It is one of those things that we do have here regularly. I don't really feel them. Usually happen at night. And I usually get the information from my mom back in the United States, who says, "Oh, I heard there was an earthquake. Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "I did not know. And I'm the one that's living here." So I find that is one of the most interesting things when we think about what's going on in the area, in this zone, at all times. Because when you come, of course, there's always the question on what about the seaweed and the sargassum and all of the other things that come along with the Punta Cana area. Is it dangerous? Should I go off the resort? I don't think it's a good place to go off the resort. They tell us not to go off the resort. How do you live there when it's so dangerous? And I think that it's just like anything else in the rest of the world. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously, the news and the news media and the news outlets are, for the most part, prone to negativity. If anybody just went based off of the news for the United States, nobody would actually go and visit the United States because it looks like it's a horror story, right? So obviously, like anybody or anything in any area, you have to go with caution. You go and you check things out, know where you're going. But on the other side of it too is enjoy the unknown, explore, but be safe about it. We in this area have a lot of people who come, who are what they call snowbirds, come here, they rent, they buy a place, rent a place, stay here for the winter months, and then go back to their regular home. With that being said, there are so many different places that you can go, places you can stay, whether it's on a resort or in a condo or in a community. All residential communities here are very safe to stay in. We have all of the amenities, even though the Dominican Republic is considered a third world country. In the Punta Cana area, it's a third world country, but we're in a first world country in a third world country. There's IKEA, there's a movie theater, there's your regular stores. We have the American side of things. You have Wendy's, you have Kentucky Fried Chicken, you have Taco Bell, you have all of those things that, you wouldn't really think would be here. You have them all. You have regular stores, you have Zara, you have those things that people are like, well, they think they're going to a little Caribbean island, but the Dominican Republic is quite a large island. And so when you think about here, when you think about Punta Cana, you have to think about that it is your regular everyday type of city. Multiple supermarkets, multiple places to shop, places to eat, restaurants of all kinds, and nationalities of all kinds here as well. So while you may think of it just as a place to go on vacation, it is also a great place where you can live. And in saying that, you might be thinking, well, if I am going to go and live in Punta Cana, what about my children? What about school? What do I do about that? And so, well, that's the one good thing too, is that you don't have to necessarily give up the idea of them needing to speak Spanish. There's a lot of bilingual schools here. I will favor my own school over anybody else's school at this point in time. But, we're an American school in the Punta Cana area, but there's a lot of international schools here as well that you can come, you can live here, especially if you work remotely, but you want to change for your family. And there are a lot of different options for schooling here as well. No longer is the world so small where you have to sacrifice multiple different things in order to be able to live your best life. If you have the opportunity or the ability to work from different locations, or you just want that change for you and your family, this might be an area or a place where you might want to decide to come and do something different. And great part about it is one of the things that I hated about New York was winter. Hated winter. Winter does not love me, and I do not love winter. But at the same time, I think that when we look at the different opportunities that life presents and the different things that we can do in the world, you have to decide, okay, life is what you make of it. And where you live is also what you make of it. So you can do or go to a lot of different places, and Punta Cana just might be that place for you. There's a lot of things going on here at this time. So with that being said, I want to shift the end of the show into something that at this moment that I find is personally important. Something that a lot of kids at this point in time are out of school for the summer. And something that I notice more and more every single year is the fact that parents are not reading with their children. And this, I think, is one of the biggest issues and one of the reasons why summer learning loss is something that is important to talk about. When we think about school education, a lot of times parents believe, especially here in this area, that school should do everything that has to do with education. If your child needs to learn how to read, it's the school's responsibility. If your child needs to learn how to write, it's the school's responsibility. If the child doesn't know their math facts, it's the school's fault or school's responsibility. However, at some point, it's also the parent's responsibility. And I like to say, as I do when I message parents about this, is that if you send your child to learn how to play soccer and you take them to downtown and you go to soccer class and you go to the classes a few times a week, right? They're getting the techniques. They're learning how to do it. But the only way they're going to get better at playing soccer is by practice. The same thing if you have your child go and play an instrument. If you're going to pay for them to go to classes to learn how to play the piano, right? And they do that a few hours a week. Well, guess what? Then they too need to practice those techniques outside of their lessons in order to get better at it. And I will say that reading is exactly the same. I personally believe that it is it's negligence on a parent's part to not read with their child, to not help their child practice their reading. And it is to a point where it's getting really bad. There is not a responsibility. And
Hay artistas que siguen las reglas y hay jefes que dictan el juego. El líder supremo de las charts globales aterriza en el Caribe. Rick Ross, The Big Boss Live.
Until they're older. The culture of learning how to
Celebrando el 18 aniversario de Imagine en la noche más grande del año, 4 de julio, Independence Day. Asegura tu acceso en el website de Imagine. Welcome to the Underground Empire.
Simply because the parent went into the school and the school does their best and they still can't. And there's only so much time in a day for school to do everything that the child needs. And for those parents who say that they don't have time or their child didn't want to, who's the parent? You are the parent. And so therefore, if your child is saying, oh, they don't want to read or I couldn't get them to do homework, well, shame on you, because that's where you need to come in and say, understand that you are the one that knows better, not the child. And if you make it a culture of something that is fun for them to do on a daily basis, then that will change the way that they think about reading at home. If they see you do it, they're going to want to do it too. If they see that it is something that they have done from the very beginning, then they're going to love to do it also. So with that being said, that was my one thing that I feel very strongly about in this week. And as we are about to go full-fledged into end of school and summer for the next 2 months, to think of your child not doing anything that is reading or school-based or educational or experiential for them is very sad. So, there's a lot of summer programs out there. There's a lot of summer schools that are going on. Mine is one of them, and I'm not saying that you have to, but at the same time, there are many different options in this area, in the Punta Cana area, that you can go to and you can put your child into some sort of activity for the summer. But also on the other side is make your home a culture of reading and learning so that your children do not have to struggle all the way through school. And so with that being said, this is Christy Maggio. And for another episode of What's Up Punta Cana, until next time, bye.
Hay artistas que siguen las reglas y hay jefes que dictan el juego. El líder supremo de las charts globales aterriza en el Caribe. Rick Ross, The Big Boss Live. Celebrando el 18 aniversario de Imagine en la noche más grande del año, 4 de julio, Independence